My man Czar make tracks like this.
What's going on, y'all? I want to give you my first impressions of the Maag Audio Magnum-K. This is the new compressor from Maag Audio, and Cliff Maag really went out of his way to give us something different than the typical compressor. There's a lot packed into this one rack space compressor, and there's a lot of unique things going on with this compressor. The compressor, the first thing that you'll notice from the left, there's an input attenuation and an input gain. I kept thinking to myself, why would they do this? But the more I think about it, it really makes sense. Not a lot of compressors have an input gain where you can boost the signal going into the compressor. I like having a separate knob to be able to attenuate the signal coming in case you need to. For a while I thought it was odd that there was two separate knobs for that, but the more I use it, the more it makes sense. You've got the compressor section, which is the Magnum compressor, and it does compression differently in the way that you have a compression range. You have 4 selections: 4 dB, 8 dB, 12, and 16. I imagine the reason this was done is because there's no metering on this compressor. You have a blue LED that will light, and the stronger the light, the more compression you're doing. Having the compression range is interesting to me because when I go to compress, a lot of times I know how much compression I want before I even touch a knob. So to be able to select that here is really interesting for light, subtle compression, 4 dB, maybe for like a hip hop vocal. I have a real dynamic singer, 8 or 12 dB. I already know how much, around how much I want to compress. So being able to select that is a really interesting way of doing compression here. You've got your standard ratio, threshold, attack, and release. The ratio goes from 1.3 up to 13. The attack, let me pull the times back up here. So the ratio goes from 1.3 to 1 up to 13 to 1. The attack is going to be from 5 milliseconds to 200 milliseconds, and the release is from 100 milliseconds to 1.2 seconds. You also have a side chain here, and you also have the option to do an external side chain, which is really nice because that's a feature I've been utilizing lately on my analog compressors, is the side chain feature. And you also have a feedback and feed forward. The feed forward can get really aggressive, as I'll show you soon as we go through some examples, but that just adds to the versatility that you have with this compressor. You've got feedback and feed forward. In the middle there you have a one knob compressor called the K compressor, or K comp. This is a compressor that's focused at 3K and above, and it's there to help tame harshness. One thing that really drove me to purchase this is that I've been getting a lot of harsh vocals to mix lately, and I'm really hoping that this will help take the edge off and have me do less work during mixing to get the vocal right, especially up in the high mids that can get that come to me that are harsh. Past the K comp, you have a parallel EQ that is the EQ2 that of course has the air band. I have a EQ2, and looking at the two, I realize that the Magnum-K, realize that they've slipped in a 30K shelf here that is not on the EQ2. So the EQ2 goes 2.5, 5, 10K, 15K, 20K, and 40K. So we have two added frequencies here, the 25K and the 30K. I would have liked to have seen the 2.5 and the 5K here because those are frequencies that I use on the EQ2. Not really a big deal for me because I have an EQ2. I can just run from this into the EQ2 and use those frequencies if I want to. But having the parallel EQ on here is a really, really nice and pretty genius feature here, because it allows me to add, and we all know Maag Audio is great at EQs. It allows me to add that EQ in parallel to the compressed signal. And for one vocal I mixed here, I used the K comp, and with the K comp pulling down on some of those high mids, I was able to add it back. I was able to add some high end back with the parallel EQ here. And I'll show you an example on a kick drum in just a second here, where we can squash the kick drum and then add some 60 hertz back with the parallel EQ here. So a really nice feature that is on here. Finishing it off, there is a soft limiter there on the end, just a one button push-in soft limiter that will flash, I believe it goes to orange and then red the more limiting you're doing there. So just a quick recap: you have a compressor, you have two compressors, parallel EQ, and a soft limiter, all in a one rack mount unit. Now, I'll also add that both the K comp and the Magnum comp are opto compressors, which is my favorite type of compressor, which is another thing that sold me on this compressor. Okay, let's get into some examples. Okay, so I've got a drum loop here. It's just a kick and a snare and a crash. We are going to let this loop, and we're going to see what it sounds like through the Magnum-K. To start off with, I've got it in, let's go to feedback, and we'll do 12 dB of compression, do about a 10-to-1 ratio. Fastest release, and we'll open up the attack just a little bit here to let the transient of the kick drum through. So I'm going to play it for a second, and then I'll bring in the Magnum-K. Okay, so we get a nice compressed kick drum there. Now I'm going to bring in the K comp, and let's listen to what it does to the crash. Okay, so you can hear the K comp there, just pulling down some of that high mid there. Now let's go through the feedback and the feed forward. Like I said, at 16 dB, the feed forward is really aggressive. Let's take a listen to it. So you can hear that feed forward is really aggressive there at the down there with the 16 dB compression range. Let's really have some fun and bring in some low end on the parallel EQ2. I'm going to go back to the feedback and let's dig in with the threshold just a little bit more. And let's go to 12 dB of compression. And I'm going to add in first. Let's add in the sub with the parallel EQ. So one of my favorite things with the EQ2 on drums is to use that sub and really get some more knock in my kick drum. Let's do 4 dB at about 57 hertz now. Okay, so that was a kick and a snare through the Magnum-K. Let's take a listen to some vocals now. Okay, so we've got a singing vocal here that's really strong and dynamic, and I wanted to see how the Magnum-K handled it. I've turned down the input attenuation a little bit because the vocal is pretty strong. I've got it set right now to 8 dB of compression, probably about a 4:1 ratio, about 10 millisecond attack, medium, slow release, and we're going to start with the feedback. I've got the K comp out and we're not using the EQ. So I'm going to play the vocal with the Magnum-K out, and then we'll bring it in and adjust it to taste.
Well, you gotta move slowly, take it in my body like it's holy. And I've been waiting for you for this whole week. I've been praying for you, my Sunday candy. Slowly, take it in my body like it's holy. And I've been waiting for you for this whole week. I've been praying for you, my Sunday candy. Come on in this house, 'cause it's gonna rain. Down Zion, it's gonna rain. You better come on in this house, 'cause it's gonna rain down Zion, it's gonna rain. Oh, it's gonna rain. You better come on in this house.
So you can hear the Magnum-K smoothing that out, and really that really strong phrase there. It's pulling it down nicely. What I want it to do is let's see what the K comp would do on its own. So I'm going to take the threshold all the way out, and we're going to turn on the K comp and dig its threshold all the way in, and let's hear what we have now.
Well, you gotta move slowly, take it in my body like it's holy. And I've been waiting for you for this whole week. I've been praying for you, my Sunday candy. Slowly, take it in my body like it's holy. And I've been waiting for you for this whole week. I've been praying for you, my Sunday candy. Come on in this house, 'cause it's gonna rain. Down Zion, it's gonna rain. You better come on in this house, 'cause it's gonna rain, rain down Zion. It's gonna rain. Oh, it's gonna rain. You better come on in this house.
So you can definitely hear the vocal, those high mids swell with the K comp out. We're going to dig the threshold in back here. Now, if you notice that with the threshold all the way, the vocal was starting to darken a little bit. So I backed off a little bit, but I want to show you something really cool with this compressor. So I'm going to leave the K comp where it is, where it's making the vocal a little dark because it's pulling, compressing some of the high end there. We're going to add this back with the air band on the parallel EQ2. I've got 6 dB at 30K right now. I've got it out. We're going to let the vocal play for a little bit, and then we're going to bring in 6 dB at 30K with the EQ.
Well, you gotta move slowly, taking in my body like it's holy. And I've been waiting for you for this whole week. I've been praying for you, my Sunday candy. Slowly, taking in my body like it's holy. And I've been waiting for you for this whole week. I've been praying for you, my Sunday candy. Come on in this house, 'cause it's gonna rain. Down Zion, it's gonna rain. You better come on in this house, 'cause it's gonna rain, rain down Zion. It's gonna rain. Oh, it's gonna rain. You better come on in this house.
So really nice with that 30K shelf does there. Let's have a little bit more fun and let's add 400 hertz. We're gonna add 4 dB of 400 hertz just to bring up some of the body on the low mids.
Well, you gotta move slowly, taking in my body like it's holy. And I've been waiting for you for this whole week. I've been praying for you, my Sunday candy. Slowly, taking in my body like it's holy. And I've been waiting for you for this whole week. I've been praying for you, my Sunday candy. Come on in this house, 'cause it's gonna rain. Down Zion, it's gonna rain. You better come on in this house, 'cause it's gonna rain, rain down Zion. It's gonna rain. Oh, it's gonna rain. You better come on in this house.
Okay, so I'm really liking how the Magnum-K there is handling the vocal. It's a really, really cool option to be able to add parallel EQ on the end here. Let's take a listen to the Magnum-K on a hip-hop vocal now. Okay, so I've got a rap vocal here from an artist named Dope from Fort Worth. So rap vocals aren't really dynamic, so I've got it set to, let's go with a 4 dB. Compression range. This vocal is a little low, so I've used the input gain to push some gain into the compressor to make sure we get a little bit of compression. Going with a fast attack, a little faster release since it's a hip-hop vocal, and I am using the feed forward here just to make sure, because the feed forward is more aggressive, I want to make sure I get some compression out of this. We'll have the K comp out for now, and I'm going to play the vocal, and then I'm going to bring in the Magnum-K.
Teeth. Not even if she really sweet. Give me 50 feet and some room to let my legs stretch. I was dead set on getting my bread right. Now I'm cleaner than the Swiffer wet jet. Rocking purple label, smoking blue dream, sipping red stripe. We put it down for the underground like a lead pipe, and we got it on lock. Yeah, it's airtight. If the hair right, DAD in there air night. If the hair right. Not even if she really, really, really sweet. Give me 50 feet and some room to let my legs stretch. I was dead set on getting my bread right. Now I'm cleaner than the Swiffer wet jet. Rocking purple label, smoking blue dream, sipping red stripe. We put it down for the underground like a lead pipe. And we got it on lock, yeah, it's airtight. If the hair right, DAD in there, air night. If the hair right. Not even if she really, really, really sweet. Give me 50 feet and some room to let my legs stretch. I was dead set on getting my bread right. Now I'm cleaner than the Swiffer wet jet. Rocking purple label, smoking blue dream, sipping red stripe. We put it down for the underground like a lead pipe. And we got it on lock, yeah, it's airtight. If the hair right, DAD in there, air night. If the hair right.
Okay, so what I want to do now is add the parallel EQ to in, and I've got it set to, let's see, I've got it set to 1.4K. Let's leave it there. So we're going to boost about a 2 dB at 1.4K, and on the high end, we're going to do about 3 dB at 20K. And let's bring that in.
Teeth. Not even if she really, really, really sweet. Give me 50 feet and some room to let my legs stretch. I was dead set on getting my bread right. Now I'm cleaner than the Swiffer wet jet. Rocking purple label, smoking blue dream, sipping red stripe. We put it down for the underground like a lead pipe. And we got it on lock, yeah, it's airtight. If the hair right, DAD in there, air night. If the hair right. Not even if she really, really, really sweet. Give me 50 feet and some room to let my legs stretch. I was dead set on getting my bread right. Now I'm cleaner than the Swiffer wet jet. Rocking purple label, smoking blue dream, sipping red stripe. We put it down for the underground like a lead pipe. And we got it on lock, yeah, it's airtight. If the hair right, DAD in there, air night. If the hair right.
So you can hear with EQ2, it's really helping to balance the vocal out some. It's a little dark. So I kind of wish I had that 2.5 and 5K on there, because I would start there to boost it just a little bit rather than going up to the 15 and 20K. But it works here. It helps balance it out. You can hear that the compressor is pulling up a few of those words that are just a little lower, and you can hear with the compressor in, it's getting a little more in your face as well. So that's the Magnum-K on a hip-hop vocal. My overall impressions, I'm still getting used to it because it is like I said, a different approach and a different way to think about compression. So I'm still getting used to it, but overall I'm impressed, and I really, more than anything, love the parallel EQ2 on here because it's going to allow me to add air, add presence, add bottom end. It's going to allow me to add EQ where I won't have to add EQ later, and it's really going to be interesting tracking with this compressor. I can't wait to try that out and see how that performs. But there you go. That's my first impressions of the Magnum-K. Once I do some tracking with it, I'll do another video and report back on my thoughts with that, because part of my reason for purchasing this as well is I'm looking for a tracking compressor to track vocals that'll go along with my Dizengoff DA2. I love the Empirical Labs Mic E, but sometimes sometimes I feel it has too much color. So I want something that's a little cleaner, and I'm thinking that the Magnum-K will do that. All right, so comment, let me know what you think, and I will catch y'all next time. And you can find out more information on this at maagaudio.com.